What's going on, FA Nation? Jonathan here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NFL DFS Playbook Preview Show, Week 14, Howard. We are here. Got a couple of teams on bye weeks, notably the MVP favorite Drake May. So we're going to have to figure out what else to do at our quarterback position this week and the rest of our DFS lineups. You're on the watch list. You're on the playbook. We've got all the coaches out live on Fantasy Alarm right now for everybody. How are you feeling about this slate here, Bender?
You know what? I don't mind it. I think that there's some good value to be had at the wide receiver position. I think we have good options at quarterback, both high priced and chalky, and bargain and chalky as well. I think the interesting thing is going to be where we're going to land on the running back spot. Like that's really kind of where it's going to be. But I mean, let's get underway here right now. I don't want to waste anybody's time because I think the chalk, I think where everybody's going to go is to this Buffalo-Cincinnati game. Josh Allen, substantial price there at 7,700, right? For 1,200 less, why am I not grabbing Joe Burrow?
I agree with you. I didn't even include Josh Allen in the quarterback coach this week because the price to me felt a little bit ridiculous when there are other guys that you could spend money on that, obviously Josh Allen has a 3 rushing touchdown game this season, the anomaly, but the last couple of weeks haven't been anything spectacular. So Joe Burrow or Matt Stafford for me spending up, I think makes sense. Obviously Stafford is live to throw 3 touchdowns in the first half of this game. And then Joe Burrow comes back and wastes no time with him. They let him go against Baltimore. 46 pass attempts, 2 touchdowns, 261 yards. It's all you need to see. He's going to get T. Higgins back this week. And again, Buffalo's defense hasn't been anything special. So I am more than okay going Stafford or Burrow this week if you're looking to spend up at the position.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that Burrow's a little cheaper because you can pair him up with Jamar Chase. And then Josh Allen, he's where he's at, but you can play him naked and you don't have to worry about, anything like that. I will say if Dalton Kincaid is playing, then I would do that. But Dalton Kincaid is like super cheap anyway at the tight end position. So we're in that spot there. So I think Allen and Burrow are definitely going to be the absolute chalk here. I think they're going to be the highest owned guys. I think Stafford will get some play there. I don't want to sell Bo Nix short. I know he didn't have a great game against the Raiders a couple of weeks ago when they played. I think he only threw for like 158 and 1 touchdown. But I still look at this as this is an important game here for Denver in the sense that it's a punch and bag that they're facing. But if they don't win, I believe the Patriots move into the number 1 seed based off of a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Record-wise, that'll move them up there. Listen, I was super bullish on Bo Nix coming into the season, and he's definitely been kind of a roller coaster to ride this year. It is a good spot for him to kind of bounce back. So I'm fine going there. Excuse me. I also like Jaden Daniels coming back here just because of the rushing upside. I don't think he's going to be any hesitant to run the football just because of what happened to his other arm. I mean, that was a fluke injury. Everybody obviously said he shouldn't have been in that game given the score at the time. But it wasn't his throwing arm. It was the other arm. The throwing's fine. He has McLaurin. He's got Debo, got Ertz, and he's mobile. So I'm pretty good here if you want to get the Jaden Daniels as well in that range. I'm out on Lamar Jackson. If you read the quarterback coach, he was my fade of the week. I don't see any reason to be playing Lamar Jackson right now. There's clearly he's not healthy. He's dealt with a bunch of injuries. I don't care how good the matchup is against Pittsburgh. I think there's just no reason to spend that kind of money on him. So for me, it's Stafford, it's Burrow. I'm fine with Nix. I do like Daniels though. If you're going 6K and above, if you're going under the $6,000 total here, you have Jordan Love at 59 and you have Caleb Williams at 56. High total in this one, Bender, to think they're going to see a lot of passing between these two teams?
I don't necessarily know if we're going to see a lot of pass. I mean, Matt LaFleur loves to run the football, and Chicago doesn't have a great run defense. So I think you're going to see a significant amount of Josh Jacobs here in this matchup. But I mean, listen, he does have, the weaponry: Dobbs, Christian Watson. I don't think Jaden Reed's coming back this week.
They're both listed as questionable.
Okay.
Golden and Reed are questionable, but Dontavian Wicks, Mr. Big Fantasy.
Yep, he's definitely in play there. I like Love for success more than I like Williams. If you guys saw the betting show over on our YouTube page here, you'll understand my take on that.
Yep.
So I would look at that. Let me ask you about the guys in between them.
Sure.
Baker Mayfield going up against the Saints. Jacoby Brissett. It's not a great matchup against the Rams, but dude's still going to throw 40 times.
I do. I like both of those guys, Mayfield and Brissett, both in the playbook. Hard to ignore sort of the production you're getting out of Jacoby Brissett. I think you did the hot takes video, and I messaged you. I was like, "Is there been a quarterback that has better numbers yet can't win a football game?" And I mean, 13 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. He's throwing 2 touchdowns almost every single week, 300 yards, completion percentage is around 70%, and yet he's like 1-8 as a starter. So they're going to be behind in this game. And you're just going to see a lot of throwing out of Jacoby Brissett. No Marvin Harrison in this game, but we saw Michael Wilson step up. We know Trey McBride, Greg Dortch, all those guys are going to be back in play this week. So I like Jacoby Brissett. And yeah, I mean, the Saints defense is terrible. So get Baker Mayfield at home. Again, his AC joint problem wasn't the throwing shoulder. It was the other shoulder. Godwin dropped the touchdown last week. It was a very easy one. So it could have been 2 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield in that game. So yeah, I'm good with going either plays in the mid tier. I also like Trevor Lawrence this week. Again, no Sauce Gardner now in that defense for Indianapolis. They're fully healthy at wide receiver. Brian Thomas is back. Brent Strange is back. Jacoby Myers looks great. Parker Washington's listed as questionable for this week, so I guess we'll see what happens with him there. But 5 touchdown passes over the last 2 weeks. The rushing upside's kind of been there a little bit as well. So Trevor Lawrence at $5,400 is also an appealing play for me.
Okay. And then if you look a little further down the list there, sub 5K, Tyrod Taylor, I think, is definitely in play. I mean, the Miami defense is not good.
No.
And I think that with Tyrod Taylor, they're working Breece Hall enough that nobody's, they can't just sit there and it's a more balanced offense. They can't sit and stack the box. They can't sit and hang back. Tyrod Taylor can throw the checkdowns to Breece Hall. That works. Adonai Mitchell and he have developed a nice rapport. John Mechie has developed a nice rapport with him. Can throw Mason Taylor into the mix here as well. So, if you're looking to pay down here paying down for a stack like this, I think is obviously helpful. If you do like Taylor with, you could go with Mechie and Mitchell, right? Or you could even just go Taylor with Breece Hall and Mitchell and do it that way as far as that stack goes. And you still have a buttload of money to spend at your other positions.
Yeah, there was a tweet. It might have been Underdog that put it out or somebody just screenshotting the Underdog board. It was like, who would have thought in week 14, AD Mitchell would have a higher receiving yardage prop than Justin Jefferson and Brian Thomas Jr.? And I was like, that's kind of where we're at now.
Well, he doesn't though, because Adonai Mitchell's prop is at like 47.5 yards and Justin Jefferson's is at 63.5 yards.
So it wasn't Jefferson, but it was Brian Thomas and somebody else, another top receiver.
Well, Brian Thomas sucks at football. We know that.
Yeah, but here we are though at AD Mitchell with the higher receiving prop than those guys. So
I'm just saying that because maybe I bet those props.
Maybe
very specifically.
Maybe you did. I also like Tyler Show. I don't know. I called him out last week.
He was atrocious last week, dude.
What he was not.
He was.
At 19 fantasy points at $4,400.
I know. He was still. It was very tough to watch. I watched that whole game in its entirety.
It was ugly. I also watched a lot of that game. It didn't matter because in the end, it came through for you. So we had the over yards. Another week where he threw for almost 240 passing yards. Tampa Bay's pass defense is terrible. So. Devon Vele out there catching 8 passes, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson. So I'm back on the show train this week for value play.
All right. I have no interest in any other quarterback.
All right. Running backs.
Let's talk.
Jonathan Taylor's 93, Devin Achane 88, Bijan Robinson 85.
I like Achane the most out of the group there. I mean, listen, I love Jonathan Taylor. Jacksonville's run defense is solid. So, and not to mention the fact that just how constrictive that price is at 9,300. right? It does, even with some of the value that we'll talk about at the wide receiver and tight end position, and that we even just said with Tyrod Taylor. But I mean, you're using up so much real estate there with Taylor that yes, for $500 less, Devon Achane, who's on the field no matter what, whether they're winning or losing, he's on the field and he's a big active part of this offense. So, and the Jets are the Jets.
Yep. I'm good with all of that, honestly. Achane, we know he can make a big play in both levels of the field, but you were also kind of on the running games in the Cincinnati Buffalo game. Cook $7,800, Chase Brown $6,700. I like Derrick Henry this week as well after what we just saw Buffalo do to Pittsburgh on the ground. This whole tier here, I think, is kind of interesting with Cook, Henry, Irving, Jacobs, and Brown down the run.
Yeah, I think Cook and Brown are both very reasonably priced players here right now. And both, I mean, again, you're talking about the second and third most rushing yards per game allowed, second and third highest yards per carry average allowed. You can't tell me that these coaches are not going to sit and try and run the football as much as they possibly can and gain control over the pace of this game. So, McDermott does not want a shootout between Allen and Burrow. And Zach Taylor doesn't want to shoot out either. Like, nobody wants that. They expect it to happen. They will make it happen, but nobody's going out there with the game plan of screw the run. We're just throwing the football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, no one's looking at it. The matchups for all of these running backs are pretty favorable. I think this is going to be a very popular tier. I'm just kind of taking a quick look at some early ownership. James Cook, Josh Jacobs are your two highest rostered running backs as of today, recording on Friday. So people living in that run right there. RJ Harvey is the next guy that's getting ownership. Matchup against Las Vegas, coming off of just a 13 for 35, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, he hasn't ran the ball efficiently all season long, but if he's going to get the volume, I guess he's going to get the red zone work, then the value is going to be there. Are you interested in some RJ Harvey, or do you like any of the running backs above him here?
I definitely have interest in RJ Harvey. I've got a lot of interest in the running backs above him as well. I mean, Breece Hall, I think definitely gets some solid play here. I think that's somebody that you're going to have to pay attention to. Josh Jacobs, I think he's in a very good spot. I think Bucky Irving is in a fine spot as well. Mm-hmm. So I think there are guys that you want to kind of lock into. I was definitely into Jordan Mason until I saw that Aaron Jones was back. And now I'm like, well, do we look at Aaron Jones and look at his price tag at $5,300? I think that's something to take a look at. I know he's got the shoulder issue, but you're not bringing this dude back. You put in limited practices all week. You're not bringing him back if you don't think that he's capable.
Yeah, and they're not going to put this game on the shoulder of J.J. McCarthy. They're going to run the football. I think both running backs are probably usable this week, given how poor Washington is against the run. But you're definitely getting the price discount on Jones at $5,300, so not a bad shout there. Any interest in Jaylen Warren at $6K?
I'm kind of gonna back off of Jaylen Warren. I was very much into him last week. They didn't really give him enough run.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that you've got Aaron Rodgers, who's just such a selfish son of a bitch when you're sitting there inside the 10. He just wants to throw. That's all he wants to do is throw the football. So I'm kind of steering clear.
Okay. Any other value plays at the running back position this week that you're looking at?
I mean, how deep do you want to go? Because I actually just wrote an article for the New York Post talking about the fact that, people were dealing with bye week issues, right? You don't have Rico Dowdle available. You don't have Christian McCaffrey available. Tyrone Tracy's off the board as well. Like, how deep do you want to go? Do you want to go to the realm of saying Samaje Perine's getting goal line work and he's going up against Buffalo, who sucks? Not to mention the fact you've got Ty Johnson, who's really kind of taken over that 2-minute drill role, and he's starting to get some play there as well. If the Bills are going to sit there and, are they going to give James Cook another 32 carries in this one here? Or does maybe Ty Johnson get a little bit of just a little bit of play? Nothing crazy, nothing, insane, but just enough.
Possibly. I mean, it's a good shout given the potential role for him there in the passing game. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Let's go on over to wide receiver. Some big price tags to pay up. Some really good wide receivers and really good spots here. Puka Nacua is your highest projected rostered wide receiver. Not hard to go wrong there. Is this kind of just find your quarterback, find your receiver, and make the stack?
I mean, I guess. I mean, if you're looking at that top end there, you know, I think you can go Jackson Smith the Jigba, but not go with Sam Darnold. I think Nakua and or Adams, I think you kind of have to lock in with a little. I mean, you don't have to, but I think it just works a little better because neither one of those guys, nobody's going to have a huge game from there if Stafford's not having himself a big game. You could still have Jackson Smith and Jigba have a good game and Sam Darnold still kind of cock-a-poo-poo. So, but I mean, listen, I think those guys are all in play 100%. Jamar Chase is obviously in play if you're going to, utilize that aspect. So you can't go wrong. I'll never say and this is one of the things that kind of kills me about the DFS playbook and putting the playbook together. Yeah. Because I know that some people want to use that lineup generator and there's the playbook only feature, right? And I say it in some of the write-ups at times. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and write up Jackson Smith and the Jigba. I don't want to sit here and write up Devontae Adams, but because of people using the lineup generator, you kind of have to include those guys. And I think that just dilutes the overall value of what the playbook is supposed to do for you. But so I think all of those guys are definitely in play. Everybody's in play.
And I agree with you. And we go over this a lot too. Most nights it's like the top guys are always going to play. I'm never going to tell you not to play a Jamar Chase or Puka Nacua. You should know to put them in your player pool. If you're using the lineup generator and you want to use the playbook only feature, you can also click that button and then go and add players back into your player pool. That's you can do that. So don't feel like you gotta stick to just that there. Mid-tier for us, Olave, Egbuka, Higgins. Anything stand out to you?
It's kind of fun. I mean, obviously Higgins coming back is going to definitely get some play there. Just going up against Buffalo. I don't feel the need. I mean, Olave is good. Waddle is fine against the Jets. You can definitely use Waddle against the Jets. I think that is definitely, he was on the cover of the watch list for a reason, people. I don't like the player, and I'm even less of a fan of Tua Tagovailoa, but can't ignore the fact that he is the number one wide receiver going up against a pass defense that is pretty atrocious. So,
everybody played Waddle last week and did not enjoy that experience. So.
Right, which is why again, that'll, so nobody will use him this week, and you'll get him at 4% ownership.
Brian Thomas is 59. Jacoby Myers is 57. Again, I do like the Jacksonville stack this week. Michael Wilson's your number 2 in terms of ownership this week. No shocker. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets ruled out. We all remember what he did these games when MHJ wasn't there. 10 for 118, 15 for 185. And we expect a repeat performance, right?
I think we do. I think he's going to get, a lot of great play. It's a tough matchup here, but he's still going to see the volume, which I think is what's most important.
The volume for me, I mean, again, they're going to be down in this game. They're 6.5 point home underdogs. Jody Rissett's going to throw the ball 45 times. So Michael Wilson should be locked into every lineup, cash or GPP rather. What are your thoughts on the Washington wide receivers? McLaurin's only 52. Debo's 55. McLaurin last week had 7 on 14 for 96 with Mariota throwing him the football. Are you buying into some of this cheap Commanders receivers?
I actually do I like this whole run here. I like Christian Watson. I like Terry McLaurin, and I like Alec Pierce. I like the 3 of them in that range. I think all 3 of them are in really good spots. You could probably even, if Parker Washington puts in a full practice, you could probably even add him into the mix there, considering that he does well against zone coverage. So I like that grouping for sure. I think McLaurin is in a great spot here, especially as the number 1 with what's his face coming back.
Jaden Daniels coming back.
Jaden Daniels. What's his face?
What's his face? Listen, Godwin looked decent last week as well. He dropped a touchdown, so that number could have been even better, but 3 for 78 and 5 targets. Good matchup against New Orleans. Khalil Shakir, somebody's got to catch footballs, I assume, from Buffalo if they're going to throw. Maybe it's Shakir. I don't know. This is another guy in that low 5K range. So I'm with you. Watson's been great. McLaurin looked great last week. I've always been Team Pierce this season, so any of those plays fill out. If we're looking at some value this week here, Bender, where are you looking to go?
It's kind of funny. I was just looking at that like sub 5K kind of a range, and did I like anybody there? And it's like, no, not really. I mean, I like Adonai Mitchell against the Miami Dolphins. I like him a lot, right? 4,600. I think that's a good price. Then I kind of struggle with the rest of it, and looking at, Josh Downs, I guess maybe, in like a, full point PPR format,
Sure.
you can, get something out of him. I don't like Judy. I don't like Kupp. Shaheed hasn't clicked really with the, with the Seahawks. So I'm not sure that I can throw that dart over there.
Your boy is getting ownership this week, Howard. He's currently 21%.
Is he really?
He is.
Oh, see, and that makes me smile actually, because
because you're day one. You've been on Luther Burden's going to breakout train for weeks.
Well, it's just been a couple of weeks here. I mean, again, it was that moment where he started to see more snaps and more targets than Olamide Zaccheaus. And did it take Zaccheaus, some time to, drop 6 passes in a 2-game set? Yes. But so Luther Burden has seen now some consistent targets. What, he's averaging like 5 targets a game over his last 3 games, something like that.
6, 5, and 5 the last 3. 33, 46, and 27 yards. He had 51 yards in week 10 against the Giants. Over 20%, because I think many people agree with you. They're like, it's not a lot of good value at the wide receiver position, so let's go.
It's coming.
Yeah. And then do you think Vele repeats? 8 of 8, 93 yards. He did have 7 targets the week before that, so 15 targets in 2 weeks for Devon Vele.
You have to pay attention to that. That's definitely somebody who I've been looking at. I don't love the player, right? Isn't he he's like 43 years old or something like that?
No, is he? Didn't he? Wasn't he a rookie like 2 years ago?
Yeah, he was like old for a rookie or something like that.
I don't even know how old he is. I'll tell you in a second. He is 27.
27. He's like a dinosaur. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at Vele. I do, again, that Tampa Bay defense is not strong. You could definitely kind of look and maybe see about getting some correlation if you want to use like Baker. Like that's, I mean, if you're going to get some correlation coming back against like a little bit of a Tampa stack, then I would do Vele over a guy like Devin Neal.
Okay.
Right. And less expensive than Chris Olave. So I'm okay with that one there.
What's our Dortch replacement?
What's that?
Greg Dortch's out. I'm saying like who's the Dortch guy that replaces Dortch?
Oh, I don't even know. Is it what's his face?
Andre Bichellia and
Bichellia. I was thinking maybe that's it, or Xavier Weaver.
Yeah, Weaver's questionable too. So that's straight dartboard material. If it's even worthy of that, truthfully.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to tight end where we can have some more fun. Trey McBride's $8,000 now. Dude's worth the coin. They're gonna throw to him a bunch in this game. $8,000 though. Gotta kind of figure that one out. I'm with you. If Kincaid does play elite spot, obviously Cincinnati, worst team in football against tight ends, so you'd lock that in at 43.
Yeah. Let me just warn everybody off of Kyle Pitts. Can I just do that? Because if you're drinking Coop's Kool-Aid, right, and buying into the whole, well, Drake London's not going to play or anything like that, just be careful of the fact that Julian Love, the Seattle safety, who's been out for several weeks and sitting on IR, and his absence has been a direct correlation with Seattle sucking against covering the tight end. Julian Love is expected to be back. I believe he's going to be activated from IR, and I believe he's going to be back on the field. So I'm definitely going to be fading Kyle Pitts. I know everybody's like, oh, he had like 7 catches for 83 yards last week. Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
That's fine. This is not a matchup where I want to use Kyle Pitts.
Okay. I'm fine not playing Kyle Pitts. Again, you have Kincaid right above there. You have newly signed Mark Andrews at $4,100.
Celebrate that contract. We like that.
Yeah, guy gets paid. Again, I like Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange was good earlier this season. He got hurt. He's come back. He's been good. If Parker Washington doesn't end up playing, wheels up, I think, for Brenton Strange here. You like the Waller receiving yards, but are you playing him in DFS this week?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Waller's got the potential of getting into the end zone. And I mean, listen, for 3,800, I mean, that's a nice price there, right? It's a nice price to have him there. I also like Harold Fannin this week. Call me crazy. But I actually don't mind Harold Fannin this week. He's the most targeted pass catcher on the Browns since Shedeur Sanders took over.
I think Shedeur is also okay this week if you wanted to punt with him. Tennessee's obviously not a good defense, so I'm good with that. I like Fan at 37. I asked Coop this. I'll ask you on Tuesday. Ask you this now. Would you go Dawson Knox if there's no Dalton Kincaid? He's $2,800.
As a dart throw, I would consider it him or Jackson Jackson Hawes. That's the other one. I think he's in price also.
Yeah,
the problem is that these guys, they share snaps evenly. Him and Dawson Knox. They split snaps evenly. They see the same number of targets while Kincaid is out. I think it's fine if you're going to be, if you're going to do a multi-lineup situation where, you're just kind of throwing all willy-nilly and stuff. I think that is definitely something you can do.
4 targets in 3 of the last 4, 3 catches. It could be.
Yeah. Listen, I said it. I had him in the dartboard last week.
Yep. Kobe Parkins is back down to $3,100. Can always go there. Colson Loveland's been good. He's $3,200 if you wanted to spend down. And then Isaiah Likely had the week last week against Cincinnati. Everybody again was all about the tight end matchup, but we forgot, I think, about Isaiah Likely here.
Last week? No, we didn't.
No, he didn't. It was Thanksgiving. So.
Thanksgiving. I put him. He was in the playbook, and I even built an example lineup using both Andrews and Likely in the same lineup.
Well, he wasn't highly rostered, Howard, I guess.
And it cashed.
Should have. He was amazing. 5 for 96. All right. Defenses. Seattle's your top defense at 4K on the road against Atlanta. I think I'd rather go Cleveland at 37.
Hey, down for the Browns.
Yeah. They're not even down. They're 3,700, but I think 3,700 against Tennessee is they just so many sacks, man. Just rather go there. 10 sacks against Las Vegas. That's crazy.
What about the Bucs, D? Do you have any interest in them?
They're okay.
Yeah, I don't love them either.
They don't stop the pass, so that's my problem with them. Steelers at 26, Jacksonville 27.
Yeah, usually there's like a defense like at the bottom that really stands out.
Commanders are 28.
Yeah. Commanders interest me at 28, considering it's JJ McCarthy. The Titans, actually, that's also a defense that probably should generate some interest for a lot of people there as well, right? I mean, they've had some decent sack totals, popping up there with Jeffrey Simmons being back. And listen, it's Shedeur Sanders and the Browns. It's not a great offense.
As it stands right now, the Cleveland Browns are the highest roster defense by a ton. They're 30%. So Buccaneers are second at 15%. So 2-1 Cleveland over the field, basically. So makes sense. So many sacks. All righty. Let's get you got a lineup example for us here, Howard?
I do. How crazy you want me to get with it here? How about let's do this? Let's do the ultimate chalky game stack lineup here. Ready?
Yep.
Joe Burrow.
Okay.
James Cook. Chase Brown.
Ooh. Running back quarterback correlation.
Here we go. Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Christian Watson. Luther Burden III.
I knew we were going here. All right, 3,900 tight end flex defense.
Dalton Kincaid. Darren Waller.
Double tight ends. Okay. Browns.
Just enough for the little Brownies defense.
Alrighty. Burrow, Cook, Brown, Chase, Watson, Burden, Kincaid, Waller, Browns defense. Bengals, Bills, stack. Going for you guys here as an example. Lineup again. Bender's got the full playbook and dartboard out on Saturday. Example lineups come out on Sunday. Make sure you check out this. Check out the betting show. Check out all the coaches. If you're not yet a member of the Fantasy Alarm family, Bender, we got a sale going on right now.
Dude, I love this sale here. Absolutely. And I thank you for allowing it to continue through the end of the week. I know you were slightly hesitant. I said, dude, Cyber Week, let's make it happen here. 50% off the monthly from now through the end of 2026. I want to give everybody as much of an opportunity to be a part of the family and to be a part of the winning that we've been doing here. DFS, season-long, betting, all in one, right? All sports, draft guides, cheat sheets, access to us in Discord. I mean, it is the full-blown experience. And we're not one of those sites that's going to sit there and try and nickel dime you, right? We're not going to upcharge you for a best ball cheat sheet for the NFL next season. We're not going to upcharge you for a betting package or anything like that. This is without a doubt the best and most economical deal in all of fantasy sports. And the best part is that you get this massive interaction with John, me, Coop, James Grande. Dan Malin lives in our Discord. Iggy Gilbert is in there as well. We're all in there active because when you win, we win. Mm-hmm. And that's what we care about the most. Do we want our own pockets to fill up? Absolutely. But if you're not winning, then we're not doing our jobs. And that's what this is all about. So take advantage of this. Join the family today. Click that QR code or go to fantasyalarm.com/cyber, CYBER. It'll auto-populate the promo code CM50, and that'll take you from now through the end of 2026. It's literally the best deal you could possibly have. Don't miss out on it.
Do not miss out. Best deal we put out there, honestly. 50% off. How can you beat that? So check it out. Ben and I will be back next week. Good luck, everybody, with your lineups. We'll see you then.